Okay. It says we are live. I should believe that since I can now officially see the video. And yeah, it's looking good, looking like we're live. Welcome everyone to another edition of the Four Guys with Quarters podcast. This is officially the last podcast we are going to do for 2018. It is episode 193. Today is the 27th of December, 2018, 2 days after Christmas. We will get into our Christmas hauls, if you will. I don't know. I don't think any of us really had Christmas hauls. I know Clowns did some nice Santa impressions for his daughter and got her a nice amount of PlayStation gear. But other than that, I don't know. We'll get into it though in a little bit. But let me introduce everyone really quick. Of course, I am Inferno217 as always. But as more always than me, we have making his 193rd straight appearance. We have ZPCI Assassin. What's going on, man?
Hi.
That trademark high. And last but not least, we have Italian Clowns. What's going on, man?
Yo, 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 what's up?
Nothing much. I'm glad that we have the whole core crew here this week. Unfortunately, no fourth person, but next week we will have a fourth. Just to remind everyone, we're working with a little bit of new software here, so if anything goes awry, feel free to let us know in the chat. You know, audio levels, picture quality, any of that kind of thing. Please let us know because this is my second week doing it with this, and we're using some new technology here as well tonight. Don't want to get into it too much, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, we're going to talk about our Christmas hauls. We're going to talk about game of the year, what we think is our game of the year, our favorite games, our biggest disappointments of 2018, and what we're kind of looking forward to in 2019. We'll talk about the PS Classic officially being a bust. Got the fire sale treatment. Clowns picked one up, so he'll give his thoughts on that. We have there it is on screen as we speak. We'll talk about that. We have his receipt, actually, a picture of his receipt as proof that you were able to get this thing for, I think, $36.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like what,
Took
3 weeks after it came out too, right?
2 tries, but yeah, I got it.
Nice. Yeah. So we'll get into that story. We'll also talk about EA and Activision showing some poor 2018 calendar years and what we think they can do to turn it around. Even, obviously Activision and Blizzard are kind of one now at this point, and Blizzard obviously doesn't really show signs of slowing down, but Activision and EA certainly this year have showed signs of slowing down, even with the success of Call of Duty. But we'll get into all that. We'll talk about Soulja Boy making some Soulja Boy money. Am I right, Assassin? You gonna pick up that Soulja console now that it's sold like 5 million units?
No.
We'll talk about that and maybe a couple other things. But before we do, of course, want to give a shout out to the Inner Circle Network. We are an affiliate podcast of theirs, and Clowns is an official member now of their official podcast. Which, when does that go live again? Is it Saturday or Sunday at 10:30?
It is Saturday, 10:30.
Saturday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. So kind of late for us here in the States, but maybe perfect for a lot of our international audience. So go check that out, and we appreciate the affiliation, of course, with the Inner Circle. All right, let's get into this. Let's get into this really quick. Let's get into what our Christmas was like, because that was 2 days ago. I know people are reeling on social media about getting their PlayStation VRs and how awesome that is, and getting their Spider-Man bundles and their Xbox One X's, and a lot of people are getting Nintendo Switches. It was a good Christmas, but for me personally, I don't think that it was too crazy in terms of wrong input there. In terms of hauls, I had already purchased my stuff on Black Friday, so I've had my games for quite a while. I didn't get any like video game related stuff. My brother actually got me an Elgato green screen, which is behind me but not up at the moment, and I'll be working with that. and also I got a new microphone, a new Yeti Pro. So, but other than that, I mean, gaming wise, I picked up like NHL. I think they had the NHL FIFA 19 combo for $44. I thought that was pretty good. But other than that, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Sasha, you like this picture that we got going on right now for you?
Let me see.
Are you
I
seeing
have to
it?
scroll down. Yeah, I see it.
No, you don't like
I see it. It's around an old lady, but sure.
it?
Wow, Assassin. I mean, you are growing some hair. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks, I guess.
So what did you get, Assassin, for this Christmas? What was your highlight? I know we poked fun at you a couple weeks ago about getting like silverware and stuff. Now did that happen again? You got to tell our audience.
Well, I did get silverware. I got some spoons, some forks, and some knives. I got some bed sheets. I think this is the 4th year in a row I got bed sheets. I think this time it was Star Wars bed sheets. So I mean that's a plus. What else did I get? I think out of my list, which was it had a bunch of cheap stuff, but the thing I got off my list was the only thing was Hacksaw Ridge in 4K. Great movie, by the way. I recommend
Wait,
it.
what movie is it? What movie is it?
Hacksaw Ridge or whatever. The World War II
Oh, yeah,
movie.
yep.
I got that. What else? I got a big ass Hershey's Kiss. It was like half of a foot tall. I got a bookshelf to put all my Star Wars stuff on, which I completely filled, and now I need more stuff. I mean, that was pretty much it. Some clothes that are super ugly. And I don't even think that fit. I didn't even look at how, because since I'm tall, my family doesn't realize that for some stupid reason. So they always tend to get me clothes that are made for like short people, and it's really quite annoying. I got a gift card to Marco's Pizza, but it was enough that I couldn't buy a pizza with it. Uh, so yeah.
All right, so gaming wise, nothing too crazy. But you got those Switch games that you're gonna be getting a Switch pretty soon, right?
I'm hoping. I mean, time will tell.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound promising, Assassin.
Who knows? We had a bunch of plumbing issues, though. Who knows?
Yeah, that
That's still
sucks.
something.
That sucks. So Clowns, I know I don't really know what you got in terms of like gaming stuff. I know you got some gift cards, some money and stuff like that, but in terms of like games, I'm not really too sure. I mean, obviously you got that PlayStation Classic. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I do know for a fact that you played Santa Claus. Your daughter raked it in this year. I don't think she could be upset at all with the PlayStation stuff she was able to get.
Yeah, she got the PlayStation 4 Slim Spider-Man bundle. I got her Lost Legacy, Bloodborne. I can't remember some other. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. She got another PlayStation controller. She got 2 separate 4 terabyte USB 3.0 powered hard drives. She got some iTunes gift cards to buy games on there. She got a year membership to PSN. She got $50 in PSN credit. I mean, she pretty much just raked it in. She got pretty lucky this year.
Next year, can you just adopt me for a few days so then I don't get another pair of bed sheets?
I don't know. I mean, Assassin, I'll take your silverware and take that as an adoption fee, and then maybe we could work something out. I need silverware. My mother-in-law takes all my silverware.
There you go. I think that's a nice trade. Something both of you need. That's like a true American way bartering. You know what I mean, Assassin? I think you guys need to work that out at some point. Let me see. People in the chat are kind of talking about what they got this Christmas. Siberia said he got AC Lost Odyssey. Wow, 2 separate games there. AC Odyssey, and his son got the Switch. Nice. Let's see. What are other people saying? You guys are talking about Star Wars bed sheets, dude. Star Wars bed sheets, clutch, especially the flannel ones. But nobody else talking about what they got for Christmas this year in the chat. I thought more people would be talking about that.
My wife got me an Elgato Stream Deck.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you got a Stream Deck. Yeah, I almost forgot about that. I remember you saying that. Yeah, dude, you'll love that thing. I use that thing for. I mean, I'm using it right now for a few functions, but I just need to sit down with it for like a couple hours and just fool around with it because it's just an extremely powerful thing, especially for podcasting and managing your own stream like while you're actually streaming. People think it's easy to just throw something together and like do all the switching and all that, but with the Stream Deck, it just makes it so much easier.
Oh, and GameStop gave me a gift this year. The employees at my local GameStop, because they love me coming in and just hanging out and talking with them. They gave me employee only stuff. It's a set of Fallout kind of like retro modern paintings of posters, and all the employees there got like 6 each, and they were like, "Oh, here you go. Here, take one. Merry Christmas." I was like, "Nice." So they gave me 6 of them because they're like mini. They're like maybe like that big, but they're pretty cool.
Nice. That's cool. Dude, that's awesome. See, that's the thing about GameStop that's gonna go away. Like we shouted on podcasts, many a podcast about GameStop, but like that's one of the personal relationships you have with people at GameStop. Like even with my GameStops, I had that when I was going in there pretty often. That you just don't get it like Best Buy, or you never get it like the big box stores. That's that's something you definitely miss from GameStop for sure. Saltiest Gaming said he got socks and underwear.
Well, it could be worse. You could get underwear from Goodwill. That would be pretty bad.
Wait a second. Are you suggesting that you got underwear from Goodwill?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying it could be worse. You could get it from Goodwill.
Dude, I thought you were saying that was something that you've gotten in the past before. I was about to lose my mind. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. You could get some used underwear from Goodwill or Savers or something like that. Volgeskrieg got, let me see. Oh no, Z Black Rider got some good scotch. He bought himself some good. Yeah, that counts. That counts, man. Anything counts. Anything counts. But gaming wise, I mean, the deals were there. It's just, I feel like we just have so many games. Like, how privileged we are to have so much stuff, Nothing was really like calling our names, Even like, Clowns, you kind of brought it to my attention that Just Cause 4 and Darksiders 3 weren't doing too well, and we saw a few price drops on those. But even like at $40, I'm not in on those. It's just not enough to entice me on those ones.
I think with Just Cause 4, I think the problem is people are having issues with the frame rates and different lags and stuttering on Xbox. At least that's what I've seen in tweets. I haven't bought it myself to confirm nor deny, but it kind of keeps me away from it. And I love Just Cause. I mean, you guys see me play Just Cause 3 like so much. So I'm just, I'm a little disappointed that they weren't able to get it better this time around.
Yeah, you guys used to play. I feel like you guys play Just Cause a ton. You especially, Clowns. You got Just Cause 3. I mean, I thought that one was a disaster, and you guys play the shit out of that.
Yeah, I loved it, man. Just disappointed.
Yeah, it sucks. It really sucks. It's like, I feel like we're now approaching this time, like with the 360, I feel like I could have dealt with the 360's graphics and gameplay and stuff and the kind of games that were coming off of the 360. I could have dealt with that for another year or two and been kind of happy. I'm always wanting the next thing, I'm always wanting the next best thing, of course, but like I would have been content playing with the 360 and the PS3 stuff for maybe another year or so before the one and the PlayStation 4 came out. But now I feel like, yeah, the Xbox One X is awesome. The PlayStation 4 Pro, those visuals are great. But I feel like I'm ready. I'm ready for the next gen. I'm ready to see, what the power of the up-to-date technology can really, do for games, not only just visuals but like gameplay. Because like Just Cause, I feel like that's a game that really was hampered by the hardware, even on X and Pro.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for next gen too. I just hope that we don't get a lot of remakes at the early part of next gen. I just hope that they actually have fresh titles to release this time around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they gotta bring the games, right? That Polygon stupid Twitter feud that's going on right now with. I mean, I took it as a joke, but I mean, I think it's crazy that they would tweet something out about, not only like it's not even confirmed, with the Anaconda, don't want none or whatever. What was it? They were making fun of like that Sir Mix-a-Lot song or whatever, poking fun at Xbox, but it's true. I mean, give me the games or else, it's not important. Like I can't get another Xbox launch where I have like the next Battlefield, you know what I mean? Or like, Call of Duty Ghost 2 with like Dogs 2.0, right, Assassin?
Fish AI.
Fish AI. The Fish AI where they just, have intelligent fish with intelligent scales. They'll go on for like 10 minutes at the reveal.
Titanfall 2 remastered. There you go.
Titanfall 2 remastered. Yeah. Yep. I can't deal with another launch with that. I mean, the next launch of the next system, maybe next year. Who knows? Who knows what next year will bring at the end? But hopefully there's like a couple, at least two, new IPs or new like worthwhile AAAs. Because I'm not gonna like buy the console. Well, I'm obviously gonna buy it, but I'm not gonna buy it and be excited about it if it's like Forza 8 and fucking Battlefield Hardline 2 or something like that. And, you know what I mean? It's like or Bad Company 3. Even with that, I wouldn't even be that excited.
But I think a Battlefield Hardline 2 would get Assassin back into Battlefield, though. To be honest with you.
No, they'll screw it up.
You think?
They're already screwing up Battlefield 5, so yes, they'll screw up Battlefield Hardline 2, which won't be a thing because Hardline failed. So
yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit because EA has had a rocky 2018, and it's going to take a lot to bring them out of the depths. I think analysts don't even recommend buying EA stock, even though it's down, just because they're just so unsure of the direction of that company. As crazy as that is. But anyway, anything else do you think you guys have to say about this year's Christmas haul?
I got some Funko Pops. I mean, some of them are gaming related. And then I got like Garfield kids like Adam Bomb, which is really cool. I love Adam Bomb. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Very happy with that.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I can't complain. Like I got some money, I got some good stuff, and obviously, those dollars are well appreciated. But I don't know. There's just no games right now that I was thinking to myself, oh, that'd be awesome if I got that game,
Yeah.
or even if like no N64 Mini or anything like that. That would be like, oh, it'd be awesome if I got an N64 Mini. But that's the last word on this. What do you think you're gonna do with that BB-8 that you got?
I forgot I got that BB-8. I played with it a little bit, and just controlling it is such a pain in the butt. Because it has so when you control it, it has like a circle like you'd see on like a normal like game on the phone, and you push forward, it could go backwards or left and right. It's so annoying. And then the nice false advertising on the box is just grade A stuff. So.
Dude, yeah, that false advertising on the box that says that you can interact with it and that it can like see you and shit. Grade A bait and switch right there. And then you open the manual, note. Right? At this time, BB-8 cannot interact with human beings. So what does it interact with then? Like ants?
I guess I don't know.
Incredible. Daz says he got the. Oh no, Siberia says he got the BB-8 as well. Yeah, I guess that was a popular item. I didn't even see that. Like when I
They
went to
have it
Best Buy.
at Best Buy. I recommend getting any other droid than BB-8 because the other ones can start interactions with other droids and they can start interactions with you. But not BB-8. He's the dumb one in the lineup.
Incredible. Incredible. Dude, you know what I'm probably gonna buy? I hate to say this, but I'm thinking I may buy one of those white Elite controllers just to give the Elite controller another try. And yeah, and use it for like blackout and stuff, just to have those trigger buttons in the back. I don't know. I think I may use my money to buy that. Because I was gonna buy a new microphone. I got a new microphone. So, but yeah, other than that, I think that's about it. Let's move on to kind of like the topic of the week, I think. One of the big topics is how terrible the PlayStation Classic has done. Obviously, this thing came out at the beginning of the month. Clowns was able to grab one. He has his receipt right here. He blurred out all the sensitive information, but he does have the PlayStation Classic there, and it was $35.99. We'll let Clowns explain that in just a second. But I think, just to introduce this topic, I think the big take-home point here is how terrible this thing really is done. Because obviously, wasn't out at Black Friday, so we couldn't really get an indication on how it was going to do then. Came out at the beginning of December. We had it on this podcast. We had a picture of the shelves at, I think it was a Best Buy, that were completely full. No demand for it whatsoever. And now, leading up to the Christmas season, didn't really see huge discounts, like maybe $10-20, whatever. And Christmas is gone, is come and gone. And we're now 2 days after Christmas, and I think it even started as early as yesterday that we're getting like fire sale prices here. So Clowns, tell us how you were able to get this price, because it was advertised on like Slick Deals and stuff, but people were claiming that their targets wouldn't let them do it, and then you had a little bit of problem. So just give us a little bit of an explanation here how you were able to get it done.
Yeah, first I'll tell you what not to do. So I went to my local Target, and I know they've always been strict on coupons, combining stuff, price matching, but I wasn't sure how the deal exactly worked. I just knew that they price matched it and then do the cartwheel thing. So I was just like, oh, I got cartwheel. Can you also price match this? And then they're like, no, we can't do both. You can only do one. You should know this. You shop here. I was like, okay, see you guys later. Out the door. Went to another Target 20 minutes away. I walked in, and I had the cartwheel thing on my phone ready to go. Went up to the guy. I'm like, yo, they got this at Best Buy for $59.99. I need you to price match this. Otherwise, I can't get it. Guys, again, no problem, dude. So we price matched it. I threw on like a $7 Nintendo online card with it, because if they canceled the sale, they would eat the activation. And then I was like, oh, yeah, look, I got my cartwheel up. Can we just scan this real quick? He's like, yeah, no problem. And like, he wasn't even thinking, he should have actually said no to me. But he's like, oh, not bad, $35. I was like, yep. He's like, nice. And then he's just like, and I sat there talking like 10 minutes, giving him a chance to like, rekindle the thought of giving it to me for so cheap. I was like, oh yeah, is this still sealed? Oh, check this out. Look how many games. I'm like 10, 15 minutes after talking to the dude. And no questions asked. Just let me walk out the door with it for $35. I was like, hell yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. And we're going to get into, a little bit here about the extended capabilities of the PlayStation Classic and how easy it is to achieve those extended capabilities here in just 1 minute. But Assassin, I wanted to definitely get your thoughts on this, man. I mean, I know you're probably not in the market for this kind of thing, and unless you were to hack more games onto it, but is $35 like a price that would get someone like you to go out and grab this thing, or is it kind of like still off your radar?
If it was like half that price, that would definitely be on my radar. But 35, no, absolutely not.
Well, I mean, look, the thing still comes with like 2 shitty controllers. You're gonna have to figure out a way how to use wireless controllers. Obviously, the wireless controller thing has been figured out. I think there's a couple companies, like 8BitDo, and I think one other one has, not official solutions, but retail solutions that you can use. And I think there are some other, not hacked, but yeah, kind of hacked solutions where you can use like your DualShock 4 or some other kind of Bluetooth controller interface to get like the dual sticks back and stuff like that. But like even for $36 for the games that are on here, if you're not like a hacker or you're not, willing to plug like an external hard drive in or figure out a way to get other games on this thing, I think it's a waste. I really do, even at $36.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. I mean, like if you're gonna play this thing stock, $35, it's definitely not worth it unless you're just gonna give it to somebody that really loves PlayStation.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's crazy to think that, I feel like I keep saying this on the podcast, but I'm just gonna say it really briefly again. I can't believe that they didn't capitalize on the fact that Nintendo didn't release one this year. Like, I can't believe that they didn't try harder with the games, or they didn't like build like internet into this thing and like update it with more games or something like that, like some sort of solution to make this thing better, because like I feel like Sony just cannot get it right with anything other than like the core PlayStation. Like the Vita is such a powerful console, they couldn't get it right with that, and a lot of that was marketing. This was not even marketing. I mean, I think they had decent marketing, but then, the thing just doesn't have it. I mean, it just doesn't have the games that got people interested. So, Dazzer says he would have no idea how to hack it. I mean, I think it's, if you check out Reddit, the PlayStation Classic subreddit, I think that there are actually fairly easy ways to get it done. I was checking.
But not only that, but Windows Central sister site, Android Central, wrote a whole guide on how to like mod this thing.
Is that for real? Oh yeah. No, yeah. You linked me to that. Yeah,
I sent you the link. Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, you get these sites just flat out being like, mod this thing. Like,
yeah, I think Polygon has articles on it. Kotaku. I think the sense is with all the aftermarket emulation that goes on nowadays, and that like nobody takes accountability for it. I think these sites just don't care about reporting it. It used to be more taboo, more gray area, but nowadays it's like, hey guys, look what we can do with this,
Yeah, and here's a picture from that site. I forgot that I snapped a picture from this. On Android Central, can I use a wireless controller with the PlayStation Classic? And that's it. People complain about the controllers because they're wired, obviously, and they also they're also not good because they don't have dual sticks. It's like you play some of these games and you're just hampered, especially if you hack your own games onto it. It's such a waste to use the original PlayStation controllers. Yeah, nostalgic, sure, but yeah, here are a couple solutions that Android Central has here from Amazon for an 8BitDo solution. Also, what is this, J Retro wireless controller? I think they're gonna pop up more and more now, I think.
Oh yeah, once 8BitDo does their Bluetooth adapter, I think the aftermarket in China, like on AliExpress, Alibaba, Wish.com, all those places, I think they're gonna be pumping these out for like $10 an adapter, maybe even less. So I think it's gonna grow for the aftermarket tremendously.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that's true, and I think that it's PlayStation or Sony should just try to capitalize on it. Like Sony should release their own solution, should maybe like, I don't know, release like as crazy as this sounds, because obviously they don't want their ISOs out in the open, but as crazy as it sounds, like release like a USB stick that you can plug in that gives you more games or something, and charge money for it or something. I don't know.
If Sony was smart right now with the PlayStation Classic, and I'm thinking as if I was Sony, right? Because I know a little bit about the underground scene and stuff. I would approach the creators of BleemSync, the people that made the open source thing to add on game modifications and other games, I'd approach them as Sony and be like, hey guys, we'd like to partner with you. We'd like to work out some type of an affiliate agreement. People could use your app and legitimately buy games through a server to put on this from their PC. I mean, that would work. I'm sure people would do it. But like, the sad thing is, at this point in time, if you look at Reddit, there's links to archive sites like archive.org and others that are public domain sites that actually host every single bin.q PlayStation 1 game that's ever come out in the names of archiving, names of saving, digital media for the future. It's really crazy. It's not like these are on shady sites that are highly illegal. These are on sites that are archiving digital media for the future. Sites supported by like EFF and stuff. So it's just, it's insane, the whole aftermarket scene and what's going on with this PlayStation Classic.
Yeah, I mean, here's a video right now that we grabbed from the PlayStation Classic subreddit. Reddit user Gagiano, I think. Gagiano, I don't know how to pronounce that, but he posted a video of his little hack solution where he used a USB 3 hub that was powered, and he used a external hard drive, and bam, I mean, he's got like, I think 150 plus games on here on the PlayStation Classic, and
300.
Oh, 300, that's what it is. 300 games. I mean, look at all those games, and it's in the interface of the PlayStation Classic. It's not, it's not like, just a text-based interface. It's like the actual graphical user interface. It's the actual GUI, and everything works. Like the save state work. The games run flawlessly. The sound is good for most of them. So I mean, some people could potentially just have like some stuff like this laying around the house, like Assassin. I mean, think about it. You could probably, you may have like a external hard drive or like a flash drive laying around the house that you can just plug into yours and just boot some games on it, and you'd be playing Tomba.
Actually, I don't have any hard drives or anything laying around.
That's a lie.
Joe could lend you one that you sold to him that doesn't work right. That would work on
he's still using it on his Xbox and blaming Xbox for the problems, even though it's the hard drive.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Well, with this thing that we're all looking at right now, everybody in the chat, you might be curious. You're like, well, if he sticks in a flash drive or a hard drive, he's losing the second controller port. Nope. He's actually bought a USB 3.0 self-powered hub, and he hooked his hard drive into that, so he can hook up 3 more PS Classic controllers if he wanted to, while still working with the hard drive with no lag. I mean, this is insane. Sony did not DRM this thing at all. Everything was left like unencrypted. It's an open source emulator. It's a PCSXE, I think it's called. You can modify the config file and everything on this thing. I mean, this thing is a modder's dream because you don't have to break anything, JTAG anything, reset glitch anything, no solder, and everything's just like, hey, take this and do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy that, not having network built into this thing too is like preventing them from being able to police this at all either. So it's like, okay, now that it's out in the open, thing came out in the beginning of December. Not even like a week and a half later, the thing was hacked. And now we're a week and a half after that, and now we're getting videos from these people that have essentially no experience hacking these things. And these people are getting results like this. I mean, why wouldn't you? And then to top it all off, Sony's essentially fire sailing them. Best Buy has it for $60. And then, if, like Clown said earlier, he was able to, price match and get the Cartwheel coupon deal at Target. I mean, obviously this doesn't help international people, sorry. But for us here in the U.S., to get a $36, look-alike that is powerful as long as you, have something laying around. I mean, Assassin, I thought you would have like a USB stick or something. I wasn't trying to dig at you or
Nope.
anything like that. But like, a lot of people have like USB sticks laying around or like old external hard drives or whatever just laying around, and maybe an old hub or something, and they're able to get this thing going really quick. So it's like, it bodes well, I think, for Sony to fire sale it, but at the same time, it sucks that it had to come to this in order to sell the thing.
Yep. And the underground scene said they're not done with this. They actually want to get Nintendo Classic and Super NES Mini or whatever Classic Mini working on these things as well on top of this, because they think they'll be able to add more emulators on this thing, since the whole thing is just an emulator board. And then there's hardware engineers on YouTube that have went further and combined this with the Raspberry Pi. So they're getting not only this emulator on there right now with their hard mods, but they're getting Raspberry Pi stuff like RetroPie, like all the emulators. They're getting YouTube, they're getting Kodi on this thing. It's like insane what people are doing with this. It's like wide open. And Sony's just sitting in the back seat and they're like, oh, we don't care. It's probably going to sell this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we thought, like, a lot of people thought the NES Classic and the SNES Classic were wide open when they were able to, well, not wide open, but relatively easy to hack, and people are getting really good results. I mean, this thing is just an open box. I mean, it might as well be a Raspberry Pi. I love how Dad says in the chat, just bang it all on a PC and use the Xbox controller, set up emulator, go. But, like, I see where this thing has some value in terms of, like, hooking it up to your TV in your living room. You don't want to bring your PC in there necessarily. Like, if you have a home theater PC, yeah, that's a different story. But you want to put this small little, like, PlayStation nostalgic looking box under your TV, and you want to, get the HDMI interface. Like, I hear a lot of people being like, oh, retro is coming back. Like, why don't you just go out and buy a PlayStation, and some of these games you can have for wicked cheap, and why don't you just do it like that? Well, the upscaler boxes for the HDMI inputs, they're wicked expensive, man. Like, some of those are like $400. I think
for a good one.
Yeah, like the cheaper ones are like $150, and they're not even like 100% compatible. So like that sounds all well and good, but if some of these TVs, like my OLED TV doesn't have composite inputs. It's like HDMI or bust, really, and when it comes to that, maybe $36 is worth it for you, because, like, if you think of the price of a Raspberry Pi anyway, so at least around here, like, if I go to my local Micro Center, I'm paying $30 for a Raspberry Pi, and then I got to get the case, and then, the controllers and stuff, so, $36 is actually a decent deal for some people, but...
Every time you guys say Raspberry Pi, I'm actually thinking of a Raspberry Pi, like a pie with raspberries, not what you guys are talking about.
Wow, Assassin. Wow. Android KitKat was a great operating system too, Assassin.
Okay.
He's just like, okay.
Oh, man. You know what we're talking about when we're talking about Raspberry Pi, Assassin? Do you know what that is?
Well, every time you're like, you're going to put a Raspberry Pi in it, I'm like, that's just going to be a very sticky situation and a waste of a pie. Like, I don't know why you put technology into a pie.
It's called Pi because it's so small and it computes so well for such a small board. And they use it over in third world countries to build laptops and PCs, and then
Well, we need better names than Raspberry Pi.
No, it's never gonna change.
Well, someone needs to change it. Some not food related.
There's an Arduino board.
There you go. Arduino. That's totally unrelated to food.
There you go. That's so much better.
And a lot of people are probably wondering, or a lot of people might comment, well, this is illegal, this is that. You got to remember that every country and every territory has their own laws regarding backups. Even with the DMCA, there's certain exclusions and inclusions for making your own backups. So it means somebody might be in their legal right to make a backup of a game that they actually own.
Right.
So just to put that out there. And also, a lot of the PlayStation 1 games were never properly encrypted, so therefore, technically, when you make a legal backup, as long as you own the disk in those territories, you're not breaking any type of DMCA because, it's not protected. I mean, there might be trademark laws you got to watch out for, might be separate, but check your laws in your own country and see, what's available to you.
Yeah, definitely. And if especially at least in the US, I mean, if you have a lot of these games, I mean, there's no ambiguity whatsoever in terms of backing them up. I would say it's totally fine. Don't feel guilty about it. It's a fine line that I think the government doesn't even want to like really approach anyway. So, go at your own risk, but at the same time, the risk is kind of low at this point.
That segues right into, that guy that makes that video, Crank That Up or whatever it's called, Soulja Boy.
Crank That Soulja Boy. Yeah, we'll get into that next. But really quick, before we do, I do want to address something in the chat because Daz goes, I wonder if you can use a USB splitter for the memory card and still use both pads. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. That's what somebody did. They used this, like one of those that you plug in the wall, like a USB-O 3.0 self-powered hub. And they plugged one into the port and then the AC adapter in the wall. And then all of a sudden their PlayStation turned from 2 USB ports to 5 USB ports. They were able to plug controllers in the other ports, hard drives. The kid even went on to say that you can add 2 hard drives. I mean, I don't know how that might not confuse the emulator in the system yet, but this is what his claims are. And I mean, look at what he put on Reddit, what Inferno's showing everybody right now. So, I mean, I trust this guy. I think he's very credible, and he knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely. And the proof is in the pudding, man. The proof is in the pudding. I mean, the videos are out there, and, it's like, if this guy just got 4 of his buddies over to play like a 4-player game, I mean, I think it would just put it all to rest. But, yeah, I mean, like Clowns has kind of been saying this whole time, like we've been talking about, this is so much like just a Raspberry Pi in a box. It's crazy. Like I feel like there's just been so little effort on Sony's part to kind of make this its own unique thing. It's like, it's crazy how similar it is to just other emulator setups we've seen on other, homemade boxes. So, and with those, like, sky's the limit. On Raspberry Pi stuff, you can use splitter upon splitter upon splitter and get, as many USB inputs as you want, essentially. But anyway, let's move on to what Clowns says is a perfect segue into the next topic. Now, listen, Soulja Boy did not say this quote that I have on screen, but he kind of alluded to it that he tweeted it out and then deleted it. So I don't know if he deleted it because it was a lie or he deleted it because he didn't want to let the cat out of the bag. But apparently, somehow, some way, this guy is getting away with selling emulator boxes that you can find for like half the price on AliExpress and Alibaba and stuff like that. And this guy is getting away with selling them, and they are selling like hotcakes, according to him. He says 5. I have it written here. I miswrote this in the quote, but I wrote $5 million, but it's actually 5 million units. So he says he sold 5 million of those boxes. So now I know Assassin is actually the only one here who really was considering actually spending his hard-earned money on it. So I do want to get his opinion on it first. Tell us, 5 million of these sold, Assassin. Is it time for you to jump in and get one of these?
No. It's not time.
Assassin, he's got this console, right? That's not called the Fuse on his site, but it's called the Fuse on Anbernic's site. Identical console. I mean, on Anbernic's site, I think it's like 100, maybe 150. On his site, he's selling it for like $400, $200 off his resale price of like $700. I think instead of getting a Switch, you should go for that Fuse console. It's got HDMI output. It also got S-Video. It's got a controller that looks like a PS3 controller, and the case looks like an Xbox One. I think that would suit your needs, and you don't need a Switch.
No, I'm good. I think I'm going to go with the Switch.
Okay. Just want to put it out there.
Gotta switch it up now.
Suit yourself, man. Whatever you Well, float your boat. I mean, listen, these you got to admit, Assassin, these Soldier Boy consoles have a ton of games on them, as legal as it may or illegal as it may be. I mean, some of these things, some of these consoles have like hundreds of games on them. You know.
A lot of games.
I think what I think is really crazy is that we know that China gets away with selling copyrighted stuff all the time. Like they change a mock-up of a pixel and it becomes something different, but it's still really the same IP like Super Mario Brothers, but they add like hats and weird hairstyles or clown afros and stuff on the character, and they still sell them on their emulated consoles. But with this, it's like we have an American celebrity who was a pretty big rapper, and now all of a sudden he is going out there and he's like selling these things in America and taking full responsibility and credit for the success of his sales. And in one side, I admire the guy because he's a smart businessman. He's making money real fast and he could probably pay all his legal fees if he ever had to from this. But on the other hand, I do question a little bit, like, how come we don't see, big companies going after to protect their IPs or trademarks, and they're just letting this guy do this? Is it because it's already happening in China and they just don't care at this point? Like these games might be 20, 25 years old or what? I don't know. I think it's kind of strange. It's like a flip side. He's smart on one hand. He's making a ton of money off it. On the other hand, it's like all these companies are sitting back. And like, especially Nintendo, you would think that would give them reason to add these games to like a Switch Virtual Console or add all these games to the Switch Online and be like, oh, well, look how much money Soldier Boy's making off this, But no, it's like nobody's taking a hint of how successful this stuff is.
Dude, I love how Soldier Boy is selling these things for like $300. The highest end one I think is like $300 or something like that. I guess the suggested retail cost, if you will, is like in a $600 range, which is absolutely absurd, but it's always discounted to the $300 range. And apparently he's selling them. And apparently, I mean, I don't know if people are just like buying them as gag gifts. So obviously, probably, I mean, that's probably a foregone conclusion. But I mean, they are selling, and like you said, Nintendo's not going after them. Nintendo's going after these small. I don't know why Nintendo's going after like these small MU sites like MU Paradise and stuff like that. Service message boards and havens for ISOs, but they're letting another grown man, like who has no business selling these things, profit off of them. It's like, what the hell, man? Get your priorities straight. I mean, at least some of these sites are trying to preserve these games as like, not necessarily as like a museum, but, preserve them in some way. And then you've got this guy making a shit ton of money. He's sold 5 million of them already, according to him. It's like, damn it, man. Your priorities are not straight, Nintendo.
He made like $1 million in one day. He bragged like 899,000 or something. Like he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna hit $1 million by the end of the night." And then the next few days later, like Fox News is like hanging out with him. I don't get it. Like I really don't get it. You would question legitimacy of what he's doing. I mean, if you sell knockoff Adidas on Canal Street and Customs comes through, they're going to bust you for selling that stuff. I mean, because it's a proprietary trademark and it's highly illegal. And then on the other hand, you had ROM sites like MU Paradise, and you had like Love ROMs in those places that didn't sell the ROMs. They hardly made any money off their sites. I mean, if anything, ad traffic revenue is probably not a lot. And they probably live in countries where there's not a lot of hope for great jobs. And, Nintendo's like, oh, yeah, we want $12 million from you guys. And on the other hand, here's Soldier Boy selling probably the whole library that they had on their websites for not $700, but like $300 with the discount.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And I make a joke that Assassin would buy one of these things, but I know he's a very smart man, and there's no chance he's going to feed into this nonsense. But, I mean, aren't you like kind of disgusted by this, Assassin? Like, what are your thoughts on this guy like actually pushing 5 million of these, and especially when you can get them for cheaper? If you wanted to buy them like from China, you can get them from cheaper somewhere else, but because it's just Soldier Boy, people are buying like these mockery of systems.
First off, who the fuck is buying these things? You don't see on Twitter like, oh my god, look what I got. they start a picture of the system. Like I mean, I'm not really looking for these things, but who's buying them? Like loyal fans of them? Like I don't know.
I mean, you know, you got to crank that Soldier Boy up, Assassin. You got to get in the mood. You got to put on his music. You got to tweet him. You got to be like, yo, Soldier Boy, getting your stuff, man. Good swag. You invented swagger. You said it yourself. Man, these consoles are swag. You know, you got to get like that. And he actually gave a few away to some loyal fans. So I was thinking maybe we should perpetrate Assassin as a loyal fan of his. And maybe he would be nice and send one of these consoles. Assassin could be like, oh, screw the Switch. I wish I had the handheld Soldier Boy game console. And, you know, Soldier Boy might hit you up and be like, yo, here's a free handheld console, ZPCI Assassin. You're a big fan of mine.
Yeah, no.
What's funny is that it's not even just the emulation. You know, it's not even just the games that he doesn't have the rights to or games, you know, obviously that aren't like unique to his console. They're all like bootleg stuff. But even like you just said, the handheld one, it looks just like a Game Boy, dude. It looks just like a Game Boy. It's like obviously a knockoff. It's obviously and people are shitting all over him on Twitter. Like people are calling him out on it, obviously. And you know how he's responding, like, you know, all the homophobic slurs. He's you know, telling people to F off and all this. Like I feel like he knows, obviously. I don't think he's a dumb guy. Like he knows that this stuff is obviously counterfeit. Or not counterfeit, but, you know, knockoffs.
Questionable?
Yeah, very questionable knockoffs. And, you know, it seems like he's like still proud of getting it done. Like he's talking about the future of the Soldier Game store online, and he's talking about the future of his brand and electronics, and he's moving on to like earphones and stuff like this, and
esports now because of how successful this has been.
Esports, yeah, it's nuts, man. It's nuts.
I mean, maybe we could get one, you know, these consoles for us, you know, one for you, Inferno, one for me, one for Assassin, and maybe we can go into like Mario Kart esports with these consoles. You know, Super NES Mario Kart. I think it might be on there. Maybe we could do that, guys.
I would almost guarantee it's on there. I don't know for certain, but I would think that it is on there. Yeah, Assassin. Then you can finally get yourself wrecked by me in Mario Kart.
Wrecked. This guy got jokes.
Wait, did you get Mario Kart 8 or no? No, you got.
No, I got Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Super Mario Odyssey.
No, see, you're afraid. Why didn't you get Mario Kart 8 then?
Because Mario Kart 8 is still $60, while Zelda and Odyssey were $45 each.
It's all right. Get the single player games. That's cool. You know how it is. You know how it is. I'm just gonna show up to your front door one time and we're gonna play off the. I don't know if you can do that on the Switch anymore, but like on the 3DS, remember Clown said you could like play multiplayer off the same cart.
Yep.
I don't think you can do that on the Switch anymore. I don't know if you can, but that'd be hilarious. I just showed up at your door, Assassin, and I was like, "Let's go right now." You have to be like shy guy, but I'm still gonna whoop your ass.
Jokes. You'd be the one crying at the end of the day.
You know what? We got Rocket League on that too, Assassin, on the Switch.
Rocket League is poo. Okay? Poo.
I'm looking to get back into Rocket League. I was playing Gears the other day, Gears 4. I'm looking to get into some of the older games again. Like, bring on Titanfall 2. Bring on Rocket League. Bring on... I was going to say ESO, but that's foolish. Bring
Good game.
Dad says he would destroy us all at Mario Kart. Probably. There's a lot of assists in that game, so probably be right at home. So all these gaming says ESO, lol. Yeah, no, not ESO. But like no, dude, that game, man, they gotta make the questing, the co-op questing easier. Like, I don't know. Oh, the dogs heard something they did not like. All right, let's see. What are we gonna go to next? Let's talk about Let me see. Sass, you want to do your game of the year? You wanted to talk about game of the year, so let's do.
Yeah, let's do game of the year.
Let's do game of the year. All right. Without further ado, we're going to talk about our games of the year this year. And we're going to let Assassin go first. Assassin, tell us.
Yes.
You played the most games out of all of us this year, so tell us what your game of the year is this year.
It's definitely God of War. Game was fantastic. Great combat, music, lore. I absolutely love the stories. I forget the dude's head or name for the head, but he would tell you stories of the stuff that went on. That wasn't, part of the game, but the background of some things, and I just love that. And I want to go back. So good, so good.
Really? Not even giving Red Dead even a sniff, even though you streamed like the whole game.
Red Dead was good, but God of War, like, Kratos grabbed his axe, put Red Dead on a tree stump, and just went to town on it.
Wow. So, dude, you're not surprised at all. I mean, I think we talked about this last week when we talked about the Game Wars recap, but you literally were not surprised at all then that God of War won Game of the Year.
I was surprised because Red Dead took, like, everything. Even though it didn't deserve the music, which still doesn't deserve the music. I don't care what anyone says. The music in Red Dead is just as bad as someone grab, like, a fucking 2-liter Coke and start blowing on it. That's what Red Dead music style sounds like. It's garbage.
You hurt a lot of people's feelings just now.
Well, good, because the music sucks. I mean, even Clowns, right? He saw a stream of me playing it, and there was a song playing. He's like, this music sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like music that like gets you really going and like makes you want to get into the action or anything like that, but it's like, it's got its own artistic style. No? Sassy will enter the FYU club, no doubt. Maybe we can get him a teacher to train him. Oh my god.
I need a tutor.
He may need a gaming tutor, yeah, exactly. All right, Clowns, what would you say was your game of the year this year?
I mean, does it have to be one of those three?
No.
It be
Dude, there's 4 here. There's God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead, and then there's a question mark, which means it's up to whatever you wanna name. What is your game of the year? Is it gonna be a Fallout 70 beta, or is it gonna be?
Whoa!
Okay,
whoa.
Inferno, it's called Fallout 76.
Yeah.
There's a 6 after the 7 and before the beta.
Oh, Fallout 76 beta. Oh, okay, all right.
I would say Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
No, stop it. That game was so repetitive.
So good. You know what's repetitive? Blackout. That's repetitive. You know what's not repetitive?
Well, so any BR is repetitive. PUBG is repetitive. Fortnite's repetitive. Call of Duty is repetitive.
So, I mean, some people like repetitive stuff. Other people like great mythology stories. And I fall into the great mythology story. I consider my mind very intellectual, Assassin. So that's why I like mythology.
Uh-huh. Okay. Just keep on telling yourself that. We'll just move on. Inferno, game of the year.
Okay, all right. I mean, Assassin's... You got to admit that is... it was up for Game of the Year at the Game of the Year Awards,
Yeah, but Fortnite won a few awards for a game that came out last year, so...
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, my Game of the Year is very unconventional because I played Spider-Man. I didn't play as much as I would like to. I got to get back into it, so I played God of War. Again, didn't play as much as I would have liked to. Played Red Dead. Didn't play as much as I would have liked to. Those games are all excellent, and what I've played of them, I do like. But in terms of a game that I've played more of that I enjoyed the most in 2018, I would have to say is Forza Horizon 4. I think that was a huge surprise. I think that That game, yes, it's a racing game, but racing games, that's one of my favorite genres. And when it comes to like how it evolved from the last one, I mean, I think all of us were like awestruck in how a game that was already like seemingly perfect evolved into Forza Horizon 4, which just got even more perfect in terms of like adding insane variety, engaging multiplayer, awesome, open world co-op where the free roam includes like other players, not just drivatars, so it's really immersive. Obviously, this time around you can, you know, obviously you can turn the radio off, but you got Spotify now, so you can really get into your jams, and they're adding like a ton of content all the time. The same map that you race on all the time when it changes seasons feels fresh. I just think that game was, for me, was the game that I was looking forward to most this year, and also was the game that impressed me most this year. So even though it's probably not like, deserving of game of the year when it comes to like going up against these other juggernauts, for me personally, it was my favorite game of 2018. It's like one of those games I could easily go back to and play and have no problem doing so. And it's a game that I know will just not ever fade away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For a second, I thought you were going to pick Guacamelee too. Forza.
I do, dude. I love Guacamelee too. That game is excellent. That game is. Has that come out on Xbox yet? I think it has, right?
No,
Not even
I think
yet, huh?
next year.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, I pre-ordered that on PlayStation. Excellent game. Great game. Great game. DMax50 in the chat says Forza is his game of the year as well. He has 54 hours of playtime. Yeah, great game, man. Great game. Dad says I only race on auto. Dude, you only race on auto really too. You race on manual, when you feel like it, but on the leaderboards you're always in auto. So I don't know what you're
All
trash
the
talking about.
assists.
Huh?
With all the assists.
With all the with all the assists on. So don't give me that. Salty's Gaming just started Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I have Assassin's Creed Odyssey too. I haven't put any time into it, but I'm looking forward to playing it. I'm definitely more into that than I was into Origins, I think.
Origins is trash. It was so bad.
You think?
Oh my god, yeah. Easily the second worst Assassin's Creed game, and that's just behind the first Assassin's Creed.
What about No, I like the first Assassin's Creed. What about
Yeah.
what do you call it there? The one that came out earlier this generation there. Oh my god, I can't
Unity?
remember. Unity, thank you. I was like
That one comes in third.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Dude, the change in the combat was clutch for Assassin's Creed.
Yes, but the whole game itself in general was absolutely terrible. The story was pathetic.
If they had that combat in Black Flag, it would have been like the perfect Assassin's Creed game.
Oh, Black Flag had better combat.
No.
Yes.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Let me just take a quick look at the Metacritic for that. Where does that sit as we speak right now? Assassin's Creed Odyssey. 82 on PlayStation. That's pretty friggin' low. Let me see what we got on Xbox. It's being kind of slow right now. 87 on Xbox. That's more aligned with what I thought it would be. And 84 on PC. Okay. So yeah, I mean, in terms of Assassin's Creed games, I think that's like not the worst, but not the best. But I mean, in terms of playtime and like graphics and stuff, I think Assassin's Creed Odyssey was probably one of the better ones. No.
Yeah. If it wasn't too repetitive, then it would have been better, I think.
Yeah. I mean, typical Ubisoft game, right? Even this year, the Ubisoft games, even like Far Cry 5, it's just like a lot of repetitive stuff. And Far Cry 5 I thought was excellent. I actually like that. a lot more than prior Far Cry games. But we'll see with this new Far Cry game if it's any different than the established formula. But I think the
It'll be
Ubisoft
the same.
huh?
It'll be the same as Far Cry 5.
Yeah, I think the Ubisoft formula is getting a little stale, but I don't know. Hopefully something changes. We're gonna get into with the last topic of the podcast. We're gonna get into EA and Activision and Blizzard and how their stocks have kind of plummeted this year, even though they've had a few successful games. But same could be said for Ubisoft. Like their stock isn't necessarily plummeting, but like it's time to innovate. And I think hopefully with the Division next year, hopefully Division 2 innovates a ton, and we forget all about this like Ubisoft stigma that's given to them. But yeah, Forza Horizon 4, that's my game of the year. God of War, I need to finish that game. I just need to be able to sit down on PlayStation and just make metaphorical love to that DualShock when it comes to God of War. I can't believe I just said that, but I had to. But yeah, I mean I agree with you on the sound too. I think the sound is way more engaging in God of War than it is in Red Dead Redemption 2, without a doubt. But it's it's a different kind of game too. So in terms of, I know Clowns had to step away for a second, but in terms of for you, in terms of 2019 Assassin, what is probably your like most anticipated game that you're looking forward to the most, that you think is gonna like have most of your attention for the year?
Okay, so there's a few actually. I couldn't think of just one. I don't know if officially it's coming out next year. I just know that we heard about it and we have a feeling it's coming out next year. Which is Dying Light 2, the new Star Wars game by Respawn.
Yep.
And then what else? There was another one.
Division. What did you say? You didn't say Division?
So the third one I was going to say Division. That one's like kind of low, but not like. I want to play that game, but it's just the Ubisoft formula. It's just so trash. It is so like repetitive, and like I want to play Division 2. I like Division 1. But I'm afraid it's going to be Division 1 all over again, and that's what I'm worried about. And the typical Ubisoft stuff where they have big open world, but it's just empty.
Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft, these companies all have to change. Like everywhere in like sales, you have to evolve, right? I mean, look at even this is kind of off the beaten path a little bit, but not really, with like Sears, right? Here in the US. Like Sears is going out of business, obviously. That company was like dominant for like 100 years, right? More than 100 years, like 120 something years. That company was dominant in retail, but they just didn't adapt. And, times changed. The internet was a huge thing. Online sales were huge. People expected different things when they walked in the store, different experiences. And Sears didn't adapt, and Sears fell because of that, even though they were, the giant of retail for a really long time here in the US. Ubisoft, when they were pumping out games, like they were really bringing it, right? Even this gen, like Rainbow Six Siege, right? That game comes out. That game didn't do too well out of the gate, but then they updated it pretty shortly afterwards, and that game is, a multiplayer juggernaut of this generation. Division comes out. That game flops out of the gate. Really, I mean, not flops, but in terms of end game, like people weren't appreciative of it. People were just bored and what to do. That game died out. And then they made little updates here and there, and in my opinion, it was a little too late. But at the same time, people went back and really enjoyed the game. And obviously with all the Assassin's Creed releases, how they've evolved that franchise. Odyssey now finally is an awesome Assassin's Creed. Black Flag was good, but then they fell off a little bit. People getting long in the tooth when it came to Assassin's Creed, and Ubisoft just needs to figure it out. Like they just need to figure it out across all their games. They can't just pump out the same nonsense and keep us engaged. And look at Call of Duty. Like Call of Duty totally adapted. Call of Duty changed in like almost every facet, right? It's like, yeah, they went back to having like, you know, the what do they call the special moves there? The alts. What do they call them?
Specialists.
The specialists, yeah, they had the specialists and they had special moves, and they had that stuff, and people are pissed about that. They went back to that after people gave them shit about it in Black Ops 3. But like the gunplay is better in multiplayer. They added a health meter. Blackout obviously huge success, awesome mode. My favorite VR. Wow, my favorite battle royale mode in any game. And so these companies just have to adapt, and this is kind of like merging into the next topic, but yeah, it's kind of sad that like Ubisoft games don't even make people's like most anticipated games list anymore because they just expect the worst, you know?
Yep.
Sam Walton wants to know, can we finally get a Splinter Cell game, Ubisoft? I mean, that's what they could do. They could bring out a Splinter Cell game, and that would break up the monotony of what they've been releasing in recent years. I mean, yeah, they had like South Park Stick of Truth, that excellent game, that breaks out from the monotony a little bit, but the problem is they had a success with the Stick of Truth, and then with the Fractured But Whole, it's like the same exact game, and a lot of people didn't like that. So they can't just like learn to, they have to innovate even when they release hits. You can't just rest on your laurels. I mean, like, look at the Halo franchise, right? Halo 2 wasn't the exact same thing as Halo 1, and Halo 3 wasn't the same thing as Halo 2, even though those games were hits, Halo did it the right way. I think it's time for other companies to kind of take that lead. For me, in terms of 2019, definitely looking forward to Division. Definitely looking forward to Anthem. Hopefully Anthem is like everything I wanted in Destiny and then more. I mean, we've seen some more gameplay video recently. The game looks good.
The only thing I'm worried about Anthem is the EA name behind it. They've been kind of irritating the crap out of me the past month, and Anthem's still on my radar, but it's slowly going down and way off my radar.
Yeah. Yep. And we'll get into that in a second too with the next topic. Clowns is back too, so perfect. Yeah, like that Anthem was like at the top of everybody's anticipation charts. Like when that game was revealed at the Xbox conference at E3, like everyone was kind of like, wow, this is the next biggest thing, and this is like, I can't believe this is taking so long to come out. Like I just want this to come out. And now it's like, right around the corner, really. And people are just not as excited about it because of the way EA's been recently, especially this year. This was a bad, bad year for EA. This is a bad, bad year. Supersonic Station, Clowns, a couple people saying Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, I mean, definitely anticipating that as well.
Or as Daz says, Kingdom of Farts.
Kingdom of Farts. Kingdom of Farts.
Hey, Assassin, don't be jealous, okay? Just because you miss Mickey Mouse and playing as Goofy and stuff, don't be jealous.
Never play the Kingdom Hearts game, never will.
Those games are good.
Don't look fun. They just don't look fun.
I like the RPG element aspect of it. I haven't really played them either. I checked the one out on the PlayStation Portable. But I haven't really got into it, that much. But I like the RPG side that it seems to show well. I'm like, yep, gonna try it.
Yeah, I played the first Kingdom Hearts. I thought it was actually very good. I haven't played any of the other ones after that. I know, like, they went almost like Street Fighter in nature, and they just wouldn't like name them properly, and they just were like, Kingdom Hearts 1 point whatever and 2 point whatever and all this crazy stuff. I can't even follow those releases at this point, but I feel like they've got a hit on their hands, and if they just take that formula, evolve it for the next gen, and it seems like they've gotten a lot of like integrations with other franchises now, like with Wreck-It Ralph, and obviously it's mostly Disney related, but Disney has kind of branched out since the last Kingdom Hearts game. Disney is so much more than just Mickey Mouse and Goofy and Donald Duck and stuff. It's just they just have so much under their wing now. It's crazy that I think Kingdom Hearts can definitely be a contender for Game of the Year next year. Siberia says Anthem looks amazing. Just hope it plays well. I mean, it looks like it plays well. The videos that we've seen recently definitely make Anthem look better than I thought it was going to look. Even though I was really anticipating it. We hadn't seen any real gameplay, and then, a couple of videos have released here and there about gameplay, and, it's right around the corner, so it's time to market the hell out of that game. All right, let's move on to, let's go to Clowns really quick because he is back. Clowns, what are we thinking, wrong slide there. What are we thinking for your not your game of the year? You already said that, but what you're anticipating most for 2019?
Wow, I've been kind of disappointed with games this year, except for Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So I haven't really looked forward to much next year, to be honest with you.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, it sounds kind of doom and gloom, but nothing's really come out this year that makes me say, wow, this is great. This is awesome. I can't wait, for the next sequel to this.
I'm surprised you didn't say Division 2. You were so in love with the first one, with the all virus and...
Yeah, I love the end of the world scenario and the apocalyptic theme to it. And, I really get into those kind of things. I love that stuff. But I just think they didn't handle the end game very well, and I'm kind of cautious with Division 2. A lot of people that are Division fans along with me told me to sit back and just wait it out and don't buy it right away.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's the thing. I think a lot of people are just cautious about a lot of the sequels that are coming out next year. I mean, even Mortal Kombat, I've been hearing a little bit of hate for. That Mortal Kombat reveal for MK11 at Game Awards, I think that was a huge reveal, and I think that in my perception, that it was nothing but positive from what I saw, and from what I've been hearing about it. But I've also been hearing a lot of people on Twitter being like, oh, I hope it's not just a rehash, or I hope it's not just MK10 with new characters or whatever. It's everybody's thinking when it comes to sequels, people are kind of burnt out on just getting the same thing fed to them with a different skin, that, it's almost like some of these games are becoming like Maddens and FIFAs of the worlds with just new rosters,
Yeah, but how can you do Mortal Kombat differently? It's literally just an arena with one guy on the left, one on the right, and they just fight. Obviously, you can change the technology and put some skins in there, but it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's true. I mean, it's a fighting game in its core. They're gonna, but over the time, they've added different kinds of fatalities. I'm not necessarily saying they should go back to babalities and friendships and stuff like that, but I'm saying they've added X-ray moves and different.
Oh yeah, I get that, but you can only do you can only improve those things, and then then it gets to a point where certain additions is just too much.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't say I'm looking forward to this because I don't know if it's ever going to happen. What I would like to see is a redone Marvelverse Capcom, the arcade cabinet, like a redone version for 2019. Update the roster, and no, not all the ones out there now. Go back with Juggernaut in the game. I need Juggernaut. If Juggernaut ain't in the game, then it's not worth it.
Yeah, dude, especially with the failure of, what was that one that came out? Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, how terrible that game was. It looked awful, played awful. It's since been updated for Pro and X, but that game was just so terrible out of the gate that I think they could just release one that's so true to the old arcade cabinet style that they can make a comeback, but I don't know if it will happen. But that franchise needs something like that, That franchise took such a huge hit with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite that I feel like they need to get back on the horse and go back to the old drawing board and go back to their old ways and true to arcade game style. I couldn't see MKX or Soul Calibur, any of those games. I can't see any of these modern fighting games in an arcade cabinet anymore,
Yeah,
back in the day when we got
problem.
Yeah, back in the day when we got arcade games, they were ports of arcade games that were normally played on cabinets, and now it's you definitely couldn't see that nowadays, Um, all right, let's move on. Last topic of the evening, and then I've got to bounce because I'm going to see Creed 2 tonight, finally. Activision, EA, Blizzard. Activision and Blizzard are actually technically the same company at this point. But stocks have been not so great. I mean, recently, stocks have been fluctuating. Obviously Activision's doing pretty well in terms of Black Ops 4, and they posted $500 million sold in, I don't remember how long, but it was a very short amount of time. Obviously that game is doing well. The Battle Royales led to that. They jumped into the Battle Royale game, and Blackout is exceptionally good. But EA, man, EA is definitely tanking, and investors are very, very worried. And what was the name of this podcast? It is the Motley Fool podcast. Couple of analysts on that thing talking about, some trepidation that investors are having with both EA and Activision because, in 2018, these companies have not been doing well. And Clowns, you kind of brought this topic to our attention, so I'll let you kind of jump in on this one here. But what do you think? I mean, what can they do to turn it around? What do you think has been the reason for these companies to take such big hits this year, even though recently Activision's been doing all right? But I mean, EA specifically too, wow, they've really, really shot down.
Yeah, I mean, if people go read the article or listen to the podcast, you'll see that they're very concerned about EA. EA is like this thing that they think is going to tank and fold, from the way they make it sound like doom and gloom type situation, apocalyptic scenario. And the problem is they don't know where to focus. They don't know if it was a Loot Crate fiasco with EA, or what, or their marketing's terrible, or their online subscription service is a flop, according to them. But the one thing that they all agreed on was that Battlefield 5 hurt EA tremendously, and is one of the reasons why EA is tanking. They said that Battlefield 5 had terrible marketing from the get-go. It wasn't advertised properly. They try to hit millennials with this pro everybody can be included in the game. And this is according to the investors, not my words. This was in there if you read it. And they think that really hurt the game as well, that they try to pick that type of market to advertise the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if Anthem comes out, and if it doesn't do good, I would not be surprised if EA folds some studios, rearranges staff, cuts down DICE, forms a new DICE studio, moves people around there. I would not be surprised at all. As for Activision Blizzard, they had a tremendous loss too. Since October, they had a 40% drop. And I think that has to do with the last World of Warcraft installment. I honestly do. I think that people were just not happy with the end game of World of Warcraft. It almost seemed like they didn't listen to the fans. And I think that's just backlash. As far as Call of Duty, I think Call of Duty, of course, is always going to be safe. And they questioned the way to buy the items in Call of Duty, if that was some of the backlash too. So it's just interesting how investors are looking at this, because in the article at the same time, they said investors want to see paywalls. Investors want to see microtransactions, but they just think that companies are doing it wrong now and they're getting too greedy, and that they're, the heads of the company, like the executives and the devs, are on different pages on how to market the game, how to sell the game, how to make it fun. And, of course, execs and investors want these microtransactions. Devs want it a little bit differently. I think more aligned with what Assassin's thoughts are, where you kind of you can earn the stuff, or you can buy it, where, execs want you just to cough up that cash.
Yeah, all very good points. And I do want to get Assassin in on this Activision thing, because I know this is probably where he has most of his opinions on this article, on this podcast that we're referencing. Because like you just said, Clowns, one of the big things that they do want is to expand on microtransactions, because that's where the money is. But at the same time, you have to balance it in a way where, where it's seen as just addition to the experience, not the core of the experience, and it's also not seen as, to put it quite frankly, a ripoff. So, Assassin, I know you've been really vocal on Twitter about how you feel about the way Activision's handled the Black Ops customizations and some of the other things that they've been charging some egregious money for. So, do you think that's like what's key for Activision to turn it around 2019? You think that's a huge problem, or do you think that there is a way that they can do it right, or what do you think?
Oh, I think they can, by doing it right, is just take a page from the past, like 4 Call of Duties, where you can just earn everything or pay for everything. I know with Treyarch, like, they've been doing some changes, like, the black market for the first season used to be 200, and it was hard for players, if they could, work super long hours and blah blah blah. And then they lowered some prices, which is good, but like putting paywalled items in games is super fucking annoying. And I think personally, maybe it's just me, but if we had both ways of earning everything and paying for everything, and I still think people would still spend just as much or more for certain items. Like Fortnite, for instance, people buy a shit ton of microtransactions, and you can earn every single one. You just have to play a lot of whatever mode, like a lot. So I don't know. But as for the stocks, I have no clue. I don't follow Blizzard whatsoever. So everything on Activision side was Spyro and Crash and Call of Duty.
Yeah, I want to add on to what you said, Assassin. I think surprise.
Oh,
I think, did we lose Clowns?
I think we lost Clowns. I think we've officially.
I'm back.
Oh, there we go.
I think I'm back.
He's back. Good. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, like they said that there's a big market for Spyro and like the Crash reboots and stuff like that. People love that kind of nostalgia and the cartooniness of it, and investors said people are eating it up and it's selling well. On the other hand, where was I going to go with this? I kind of forgot. But Assassin, I had a question for you, and I just can't think of it right now. Sorry, man. It happens when I get disconnected.
Yeah, I mean, Activision not doing well in 2018, I think all stems, from Destiny. I think that was what really hurt Activision this year. Even though... Oh, go ahead, Clowns, go ahead.
That was it real quick. You guys touched on Destiny. And they said that there's even like concerns with Anthem because it's kind of like Destiny-like and Titanfall-like. And if Destiny's not doing well, they're kind of concerned that Anthem's not going to do well. And Assassin, you are a big Destiny fan. You like a lot of stuff that comes out of Activision and EA. Do you have concerns that Anthem's not going to do well?
I have concerns because of what EA is doing with Battlefield at the moment. And I am not buying Anthem on day one because of what they did with Battlefield.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean... yeah, go ahead.
It was so annoying that I spent just $80 on a game that I think is fantastic. It plays very well, give or take a few things. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, game's half off."
Yeah.
So fuck you. You spent $80, $60, whoever. Your money is ours now. We're not going to give you anything. You just gave us an extra $45 to $30. So thanks.
Yeah, these companies are like, especially companies that are in hot water and already on the hot seat, like EA, like going into Battlefield, like Clowns already alluded to earlier in this show. The marketing was just so bad for Battlefield that people were just wondering what was going on. Then you had the delays for the game in general. The game got delayed, and then you have the delays for the Battle Royale mode that has yet to be released. So everything was looking bad. Not enough revealed, not enough information, delays, everything was just building up to a perfect storm. And, EA was so on the hot seat that they felt like they had to take swift action and lower the price in order to generate more sales because, surprise, surprise, Battlefield 5 didn't sell well, where Call of Duty did. So, good.
Just to point it out, like the NPD, right? They came out with their sales. Like, the thing I don't get, if people are saying it's bad, maybe I'm just stupid and don't know what I'm saying, but Battlefield 5 came above, besides PS4, across everything in Xbox, it's above Fallout 76 and just below Call of Duty. So I just don't get it. Like, what are the numbers? Like, maybe I'm just not looking the right spot or whatnot. But it seems like, to me, it seems like it's doing well. But
I think what they're doing, I think what they're doing is comparing it to how Battlefield 1 did. You know what I mean? Like, is that the right way to approach it? Maybe, maybe not. But, like, they finally, they feel like that they had last time with Battlefield 1, they feel like they had a huge success. And then, Battlefield 5 is here and, it's going directly up against a Call of Duty that, was being touted as, like, the resurgence of the franchise. World War II obviously was pumped up, but it wasn't like... I feel like Black Ops 4 was really like the game to bring Call of Duty back. It was like, oh, we're getting rid of the single player, we're dedicating everything to the multiplayer. You're gonna be loving the experience, and Call of Duty is gonna be back on your radar, whatever. And I feel like that game successfully did that. And then EA, said to themselves, oh, okay, now we've got Battlefield 5. This thing has to do exceptionally well. And like anything short of like topping NPD or anything short of like whatever many sales is not good enough, and we need to get the install base up and show that people are actually playing this thing to investors. And I feel like that's what it is. It's not even just the fact that just by its like placement amongst those games, you feel like it's doing all right, but at the same time, I feel like investors care about how many people buy it, how many people are playing it, how many people are consistently putting money into it.
Yeah, what they gotta do, I think Battlefield needs more time because they usually pump one out every 2 years, except with Hardline, and then give it 3 or 4 years because clearly they need time, and clearly they need better assignment makers because that's a joke.
Yeah.
So
that whole assignment system's a joke, and honestly, like with how much content they put into Battlefield 4. And how much and how sustainable that game was over such a long period of time. And then Battlefield 1, they were kind of like approaching that, but they then like segmented the community, and people were kind of salty about the Battlefield Premium and having to have that, and so you had the community all split up and all that controversy. So I feel like that they know how to continually support a Battlefield game to keep it relevant for years upon years. If I had Battlefield 1 and they just kept adding content to that, I would have been happy. Like, I didn't need Battlefield 5. It was like a game that came out that just was like me being spoiled as a Battlefield fan,
Yeah, I wish they would go back to like Battlefield 4 where you had all these different sites, attachments, blah, blah, blah. And not go where like Battlefield 1 had where certain guns only had these attachments, certain guns didn't.
Yeah.
Same thing with Battlefield 5 with the weapon upgrades. Like, that's nice, but I'd rather, put it, you can put a different sight on whatever, but have different attachments and stuff. And apparently that was too confusing. That's why they went back to, Battlefield 1. I'm like, who cares? Let you like that. That's the fun of like even Call of Duty. You learn your gun and then you try out different attachments. So, like maybe a certain gun doesn't want to suppressor, so then maybe you can change that up. Or I mean, they had 50 billion grips, like the angled, potato, full grip, half grip, no grip, blah blah blah. But that was still you could experiment and have fun, and they changed. You look at your gun. And they had like 1 billion camos, which I think was nice, even though most of them were super ugly. But you still had like 1 billion camos.
Yeah,
I mean, you options.
The options were there, the content was there, the ability to change your playstyle depending on what game mode or map and everything. It was just the possibility was just endless, and Like, that's what they got to do. They got to return to stuff like that. I think, like, they could overhaul Battlefield 5 completely with the software patch and make it into something kind of potentially close to that, and then solve a lot of the problems. I think that's what they may have to do. I mean, instead of fire selling the thing, they may have to just, like, go back to the drawing board a little bit and figure it out. But
yeah, make a modern one, Battlefield.
make a modern Battlefield. Yeah, right. You know, because obviously, like, the options in, like, World War II or World War I are way less than what they were in a modern game like Battlefield 4. Just because, like, you're not putting potato grips on, like,
MP40s,
an MP40 or anything like that, or like a M1 carbine and stuff.
Laser sights.
Laser sights. Exactly. But yeah, these companies need to turn around in 2019. I don't think any of us really know how they can do it per se, because, you know, public reaction is, like, critical. So maybe it's just, like, pushing proper marketing. Maybe it's, like, doubling down on, you know, community management presence, like on Twitter and stuff, and answering people's questions and marketing properly. Maybe it's that. But anyway, all right. I think that's going to do it for this episode, since I have a movie to go to. And we've actually been going for like an hour and 30-something minutes. I'm actually shocked it hasn't felt that long. Just because Assassin's beautiful face has been bigger than ever in this shot.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, yeah, that's going to do it for tonight's podcast. We'll see you guys again in 2019. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a stream this weekend or something. Anything's up for grabs, of course. But our names have been personally cycling below. You can find our Xbox handles and our Twitter handles there if you want to follow us if you haven't already. And game with us on Xbox. I think I'm going to try to add in, like, PlayStation and stuff like that again back underneath there, because I now have the capability to do so pretty easily, so I think we can make that work. Follow us on everything, Four Guys with Quarters. Just search for us like that. You'll find us on everything. We're on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're on a bunch of stuff now, so go listen to us on there. Leave us a review. Leave us a like. We'd really appreciate that, of course. And yeah, on Twitter, of course, we're 4GWQ Podcast, because Four Guys with Quarters just would not fit. So we will see you guys in the next one. But for 2018, we are out. Peace.
Bye.
Later.